Well, hello all, friends and family. We're out here sitting on the front porch again. July 31st, 2019. It's about high noon. And this is going to be another video dealing with the food crisis. Now, I've had a ton of comments across all 4 videos. Been trying to keep up with them. I have read them all. Been trying to reply to them. A little bit behind on those, but I'll get to them. Maybe I'll get caught up tonight. But I am pretty busy out here on the property, and I'm just one person. I do everything. I plant it, I pick it, I care for it, and I shoot the videos. Just bear with me if I haven't answered your question or said howdy yet. Now, the reason we're out here today and the subject that we're going to speak about is, are you ready to deal with a food crisis in America? Because a lot of people have said, well, Mr. Tom, if it gets bad enough, I'll just start a garden of my own. Well, that may be all fine and good. And that's why I wanted to bring you along with me and discuss some things I'm seeing in my garden this year. Some of the problems, some of the failures. And I've only been doing it 57 years. Hence why I want to go through this with y'all. Because even the best of us, or least of us, not sure which I would be, is going to have problems. And some of them can be quite severe. So let's walk on out and take a look at a few things as we look at our plantings. Stay with me. So we're over here walking down to the truck tire planters, because there we have some successes. We'll talk about them first, and there is a failure here as well. Let me show you what we got going on here. So here we are, those 2 truck tire planters that we planted, it was back in June. What we got growing here is Bonnie green bell peppers, and we have a lunchbox pepper and some cantaloupes. As you can see, cantaloupes are just going crazy. And if you'll watch my video when deer come to dinner, you'll understand that these cantaloupes had a tough start. The deer ate them all the way back to nothing but nubs, but they sprang back from that. Now over here in this planter, we've got 2 Bonnie green bell pepper plants. And I want you to look up in there. See right there, they're doing really well. I'll move this here tomato plant out of the way. Look at this little one over here. And we'll look right down here. You can probably see that nice bell pepper forming right there. And it's got a few small ones on it. Some other blossoms right up in there. Now we get up here, this lunchbox pepper. And you can see all the peppers all over this thing. They're just everywhere. And small ones up here at the top. And it's outgrowing the 2 Bonnie green bell peppers. So the peppers in this planter are doing fantastic. Couldn't ask for better. But on the failure side is this poor old Parks Whopper improved tomato plant. Now granted, it was ate down by the deer as well, nothing but stubs. And another thing to note is I haven't grown this particular variety of tomato since I left North Alabama, southern Tennessee. And that was some odd 30 years ago. It has really struggled in this heat. See, I do believe it's just too far south for it to thrive. It's got fungal disease and virus on it. You can see the black spots on the stem. Most likely a Spatoria leaf spot forming. The ones I have up in clothesline pole plant, there's 2 of them up there, have the same disease, and they really haven't put on a lot of tomatoes. I've gotten a few, and thankfully for me right now, I'm not dependent on surviving off of any of this. For me, this is just for enjoyment and fun last year and this year. Now that may change as our food situation worsens. And that's why I wanted to do this video, to show you that if a man with my experience is having problems with some things, think about some of y'all. But you can see in the heat too, you can see pepper plants starting to drop blossoms, drop immature. See, they're all down in here. Now that's no real reason for concern. Your plants are going to do that when the temperatures get up in the mid, high 90s, low 100s like we're seeing nowadays. And they're going to be there all through July and August, unfortunately. So what I'm going to get on these peppers is what I got coming now. I have to keep them alive till fall. And then they'll reset blossoms and refruit. That's a big if. We just have to wait and see. Now you can see right over here in this cantaloupe, there's a nice cantaloupe forming up there. Let me show you where ones that have failed. See right there, it's all yellow. Didn't get pollinated. And I've seen the bees, the bumblebees, all over these. Here's another one. Yellow, ends dead, didn't get pollinated. So we got one, but we're down 2. I haven't looked up in through here to see any more. Oh, we got one forming up right there. It looks like it's going to make it. So that's 2. I'll just have to look through these later in the evening. See a third one right here. Looks like it's going to make it. That's 3. So they're doing fine. Now, the Bonnie green bell peppers over here in this planter, they're just doing great. We got a monster right there. You can see it. Hopefully, it's hard to hold the camera. And we got more forming over here on this one. Right there. And there. More here. And more on that 4th one. So the Bonnie green bell peppers, so far they're a success. Hopefully they'll continue through the heat of July and August. Now they are starting to drop blossoms. Like I said, that's just part of the plants trying to survive in this extreme heat. Now these are watered regularly. In fact, they were just watered late yesterday evening. So they're not suffering from water. And they have been fertilized. They were initially planted with fertilizer. And then I have re-fertilized them again last weekend. When your plants are setting fruit like this, they're going to eat it up. And it doesn't matter whether you're using commercial fertilizers or organic. These have all been fertilized with organic. Let's go up and look at another failure. Now, we're up here at the, what I refer to as the old compost pile bed. And like I say, if you've been watching garden videos, you see something's missing in the middle. Well, that was the potatoes. I pulled them up this morning. And it's a little bit embarrassing that I've now had the worst potato harvest ever in my life. The only thing I had was a few small potatoes, and I'll show you those. They're in the house on the kitchen counter. I'm not going to lie to you. It's the worst I've had, and that's why, again, I want to bring up. Now this is improved soil. It's basically nothing but 100% compost. And I refresh it every year. pH is just right. I check it. It's kept nice and moist. I water it. And it's kept fertilized. But even given all that, my potatoes got a fungal disease this year that I've never had. And it's a black mold. And once it hits your potatoes, the leaves start turning black, stems start turning black, and they die, they wilt, die all the way off. And once that black mold hits them, they stop making potatoes. But I'll show you what I've harvested today towards the end of this video. Now around here you'll see the okra. It's not doing too bad. Now some of it's wilting in the heat. Now it's in the shade and still wilting. It's not because it's dry. It's because it's 95 in the shade right now. I think the heat index with the humidity we got right now, which is 98%, we're up around 110 heat index. And that's an important thing to note. Plants feel the heat just like we do. It's like animals do. There ain't no difference. So they suffer from a high heat index just like I'm suffering now out here talking to you. But I'll be replanting this later this afternoon. I'll be putting in some rattlesnake pole beans around the perimeter. And I'm still wondering what to put in the center. I have thought about putting in some corn, because I'd like to. But corn's really not efficient use of space. You get a whole lot of big plants. If I had animals, that'd be great, but I don't. So I'm going to have to think about that, what to put throughout the center. But I'll let you know when I do it. Now, let's head on up, look at some of the other things we got going on. Now the old raised bed, things are starting to perk up here. But I want to show you some things about tomatoes and the heat, especially younger ones. See this one? That's only been in there, oh, I think this is the second week. You don't see no wilting, and I want you to look at the ground. Nice and wet. It also rained last night. Not a lot, 2/10 of an inch. But an hour or two before that, I turned on this soaker hose and wet it down real good for 45 minutes. Now we get over here to this solar fire, and you'll see the top of it shows some wilting, where this heat master does not. They're both exposed, same amount of sun, same temperature. And those are things you're going to have to learn, take notes, or put it in memory. Even though both of these are supposedly plants that will survive and thrive during the heat of the summer, it's not too hard to see that the heat master here is apparently standing up to this heat far better than this solar fire, which is showing some wilting in the foliage. Now we get over here to this husky cherry red tomato, and you can see it doesn't show any signs of wilt in the heat. Well, it may have a little bit right there. No, that looks like that got broke in the storm last night. Yeah, that got broke in the storm. So it doesn't show any wilting. So it's taking the heat real well. The dill, it's doing fine. As is the basil. Garlic chives, they're bulletproof as long as you keep them watered. Now, earlier this morning when I was out here checking everything, I noticed some pest damage. Got some holes in my leaves. And I checked out this plant really well. Didn't have my camera with me at the time. And I found a few army worms on it. Not good, but hopefully I got them all. I'm sure there's probably some eggs that haven't hatched. But that's another thing we've been dealing with. I know everybody's been dealing with all over America. Army worms came very early this year. I don't normally see them till about mid to end of August. This year I had them by mid-May. That's extremely unusual, at least for this area. Parsley's doing fine over here. And then we've got our okra up in this pot. It's doing fine, of course. We had something come along and browse it back again, even though I got 7-foot deer fencing up. See it right there? Right there. I looked everywhere. Hasn't happened again. This a few days back. Now I do got some caterpillar damage here on the leaves. And I've been picking off armyworm. Never ending. If you're not going to get out here every day, take a look at your stuff, you're going to starve to death. You have to depend on it. Right there you can see some aphids. And you can see what carries them up on the plant, the ants. They actually farm aphids like we farm cattle, pigs, such things. They carry them up to the tops of the plants on tender young leaves, where they'll suck on the juices of the leaves. And the aphids secrete a honeydew, which the ants collect to feed themselves. You can see right there a good example of whatever browsed that back a few days back. But I'm going to have to take some insecticidal soap, and I'm going to have to spray down these okra, get rid of my aphids. Then I'll have to put a few piles of boric acid down here at ground level. I'll mix that up with a little bit of honey. About 1 tablespoon of boric acid to about a half a tablespoon of honey. It don't take much. The ants will carry that honey off, and the boric acid inside it will kill them. If you want to get rid of the aphids, you got to get rid of the ants. Now in this pot, you'll see there's another Parks Whopper Improved tomato, which was really doing beautifully earlier this year. Poor the deer ate it all off. It didn't have a sign of any disease or anything. Now it's starting to show some signs of leaf spot on it as well. And it has really never recovered, as you can tell from all the areas where the deer ate it down. Just never really recovered. These Parks Whopper Improved just were too far south for them. The same thing with the Parks Whopper Improved tomatoes. Really haven't set a lot of fruit or ripened a lot of fruit. You know, I've got probably off this particular tomato here 5, 6 tomatoes. Now something I want to show you right here. You can see them on top of that tomato. Stink bugs. Yep. unless you're going to spray, the only solution is to squish them with your fingers. And what they're doing, you can see the little marks right there above my thumb. They sit there and puncture the tomatoes, suck all the juices out. And then that tomato will get infected. And it will start to discolor every place stink bug punctured it. You can see some more little dark spots right there where they've got that one. So, I'm going to have to spend some time picking off stink bugs. But you can see right here, this plant starting to get some leaf spot. It's had some spider mite damage. Rattlesnake pole beans, they're hanging in there. And they do that every year. But the one thing they're suffering from, and I hope the camera will pick it up real well right here. See, that's what bean rust looks like when it first starts on the leaf. Looks like a little lighter green to almost silver specks all over the leaf. And that'll continue till the leaf starts looking like this, and then looking like that. And then the leaf, as that one is dying. And then I'll come along. See, leaf just pulled right off, dead. See, here's another one. And I pick them off. Now here again later this evening, after the sun gets off this, I will be, for the first time this year, spraying with hydrogen peroxide. And what that will do, it will kill this bean rust. I used it last year, worked out like a champ. And if you want to learn more about it, I'm going to direct you over to the Rustic Garden channel with Gary Pillarcheck. Now I have some mention of it on my videos, but Gary, he has really went in depth on this here hydrogen peroxide and that. But the mixture I use is 12 tablespoons per gallon. I figured that out last year, worked real well. But the thing you have to do with the hydrogen peroxide spray, it's not a preventative, folks. It's a killer. And it'll kill viruses and fungal diseases, no doubt. Works like a champ on beans, tomatoes, cucumbers, squash, powdery mildew. Had great success with it last year. So did Gary. But Gary and I, our tomatoes went all season long. When you can watch a lot of gardening channels, those are all dying. Tomatoes will get sprayed too. Now I was going to say I wasn't going to do no spraying at all this year. But hydrogen peroxide is a naturally occurring substance in nature. And I'm going to use it. And it dissipates rapidly. It'll kill the virus and fungus. It evaporates and it's gone. Because what happens is once it's exposed to air, it converts back. It loses one of the atoms. That's because hydrogen peroxide has an extra oxygen atom, where water is H2O, 2 hydrogen, 1 oxygen. So as soon as it exposed to atmosphere, it starts to lose those atoms. And actually what it does to kill the virus and fungus is it creates heat. And it's that there thermal heat that kills the virus and the fungus. Now where you see these leeches on leaves, you may well see holes after you apply the hydrogen peroxide spray. I did last year. I documented that and I noted it and even shared it with Gary Pillarcheck. Yep, these are going to get sprayed the first time. So are my tomatoes. Probably should have been doing it. But here again, I'm not depending on that this year to keep them fed. Now these cucumbers have been a disappointment. Last year I had more cucumbers than I could possibly eat. I ate them every day. I ate them in salads. I pickled them. I made refrigerator pickles, vinegar and oil, cucumber mixes, tomatoes, onions. Oh Lord, I even fried some. And I was still giving away cucumbers. But here again, I did not plant the same variety this year. I saw another variety, and I was buying seeds from my past, and it was an heirloom variety called Straight 8. And what I had been planting were hybrid cucumbers from Burpee. And I planted those for probably, oh Lord, 30 years or more. Maybe 40 now. But I also remember, back in the day, I planted some Straight 8. Couldn't remember if they did well or not. Of course, here again, that was southern Tennessee, North Alabama. So I wanted to give them a try this year. They have not done well. I think in total, I've got maybe 20 cucumbers off this stand. Where last year, the same amount of cucumbers gave me literally dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens, and they just continued all year long till frost. But now this little stand of Straight 8s has got a problem. You can see the leaves are yellowing, and I hope the camera will pick it up. See that there sort of white frosting looking coating on the leaves? That's powder mildew, and that will kill the leaves, just like here. Eventually kill the plant. I'm almost half mine just to cut these and tear them out. And I might do that. But before I do it, here again, I'm going to spray these with the hydrogen peroxide solution this afternoon. Another problem with the cucumbers this year has been the army worms. And you can see right there, there's a nice hole in that one. And there's a caterpillar in there. Trust me. And there were several that I picked yesterday that had caterpillars in them. I wasn't paying any attention. I put them on the counter, and later that evening went to put them in the fridge, and you could see where the caterpillars came out of them. But this is the end result from powdery mildew on your cucumber. You can still see the white. That leaves dry and dead. Now, on another successful note, y'all, those of you who have watched my videos know that I pruned back these Kentucky Wonder Bean. Reason I did it, they were too tall to pick anymore. They were up about 15 feet or more high. And I wanted them pruned back also to encourage side growth down lower on the vines. And if you go back and watch that video, you can see they are doing that. All the new growth on them, new leaves. And this area is starting to fill out. This area here is filling out even more. These beans got a problem. Same as the rattlesnake. It's right here. You can see the light colored little specks all over the leaves. They're starting. That's the initial stages of bean rust. So I'll be spraying these with the hydrogen peroxide too, as soon as they go into the shade. Now, like I said, the hydrogen peroxide is not a preventative. It's a killer. Dissipates very fast. So, what you have to do, if you're going to use it, is what I do, is I do a light spray every 4 to 5 days. And that worked like a champ last year. And you can watch my videos from last year, you'll see the rattlesnake pole beans. We picked them. You can see how they looked all the way up till frost, all the way through the summer until frost finally killed them. And you can see here on these Kentucky Wonders, new little beans starting to form. Blossoms are all over this bottom portion starting to form. I think it's been about a week. There's some little bean in there. There's some bigger ones on up in there. And we'll be monitoring this as I continue to grow these Kentucky Wonders. Throughout the season, I'll share it with you. Because I'm not going to tell you something and not share you the results. Good, bad, or ugly. You'll see what happens to old Mr. Tom. We don't edit it out and we don't hide it. And over here, we got our couple squash plants. Now last year, and I know I keep saying this gets redundant. If you go watch my videos from last year, I had only 3 squash plants. And they became huge. And every few days I was picking squash off. So this year, I only planted 3 as well. But I messed up again. Instead of planting my old tried and true variety of crookneck, I wanted to try a new one, and I did. And these have taken forever to set fruit, and now they finally are. You can see them down there. Got a couple of starting to form up. Got some more here and that, but you're going to see something here on the leaves, and we'll take you over here in the shade so I can show it to you. You see, squash gets powdery mildew too. And you can see right there. I'm not sure if the camera will pick up the white, but you should be able to see it. Leaves are all spotted and that, and the white turns to yellowing little spots in the leaves, and the leaves will die. Here's an example of a leaf in the final stages. So I will be spraying my squash with the hydrogen peroxide as well. And when I do my next garden walkabout, probably this weekend, you'll be able to see how it looks. So the whole point of this video, folks, was I keep hearing from a lot of people, like I said in the beginning, well, Mr. Tom, if it gets too bad, I'll just start gardening. Okay. I wish y'all luck in the world. Maybe y'all wish this old man some luck too. Every once in a while, an experienced seasoned gardener and grower needs a little bit of that too. And I can't express this more by showing you my successes and failures, even though as embarrassing as some may be. It happens to the best, and it's going to happen to the least. And I don't claim to be the best, but over the years, I made a living at it at one time. For all through my children's upbringing, I fed them, fed me, my wife, and anywhere from about 8 to 12 other families, to be honest. I mean, right here on a half acre of ground. But this year has been one of my worst. Some of it was self-inflicted. I want to try some new things, or I wanted to try some very old things. And in reality, I knew better. But I'm going to take you on in the house before I shut this video down, and I'm going to show you what we harvested in cucumbers and potatoes this morning. Don't laugh too hard. Happens to all of us. It's the point of the video. Come on with me, let's go on in the house. Well, y'all, I'm just glad to be back in the house. Not sure you can see it. I'm sweating all over. Let me show you my embarrassing harvest. So we'll hold on to your sides. So what we have here is we have my potato harvest for 2019. That's it. That's pretty sad, ain't it? That's all I got out of 2 pounds of russet seed potatoes. Now, it wasn't a fertilizer issue. I checked that. Wasn't a water issue. They get deep watering every 2 days if it don't rain. And I checked that with a meter. But last year, out of a pound of seed potatoes, I got enough potatoes out of that bed to last little old me all the way through the winter till 2 weeks ago. Now, it's not like I eat a whole pile of potatoes every day. I don't. But this can happen at any time to any of us. If you don't believe so, look back in history to the Irish potato famine. And everybody knows the Irish are jam up on growing potatoes. But it came a time in their recent history that their potatoes got hit by a viral or fungal disease, wiped them out. And that's what caused a lot of Irish to immigrate to America. Now, as I told you out in the gardens, cucumbers have been sad. Now, after I discarded all the ones that had caterpillar holes in them, this is all I got out of my picking yesterday. I think there was a total of a dozen that I picked. I'm going to keep 3. Caterpillars got 9. And then here's my banana peppers. I got 1 I picked yesterday. I got more out there, but I've been having problems with them. What you're seeing on the end is blossom end rot. Now I'll cut that off and I'll dice it up for salad tonight. And I've had some problems. Leaves wanting to become yellow and fall off. Here again, I checked my fertilizer, the soil. Seemed okay. Checked my pH. It's right in there. Right at about a 7. A little bit on the high side. Shouldn't have been no problem. I've got soaker hoses around them. They're watered in well every 2 days. Here again, I checked that with a meter. But I guess I had a calcium deficiency. So last weekend I mixed up some calcium carbonate and some Epsom salts, and I gave them all a good drench plus a foliar spray, and they seem to be doing better. We'll just have to see as the season progresses. Now, y'all, I know this video's been a little long. I'll try to edit some of it out. But for those of you who stayed till the end, the only reason it's long as I try to share with you along the way my experiences based on past knowledge. Today's video has not been real complimentary to me, because I think the failures far outweigh the successes. We're not going to let that stop us. I've already got seeds sitting outside. I'll start doing my midsummer plantings, which will carry us on in through early into fall, and we'll be getting those in today. I will also be starting transplants today or tomorrow for my fall crops. There'll be more tomatoes, some more peppers, squash, cucumbers, beans. It's still way too early to start cold crops here. I won't actually start transplants for them down far south as I am till first part of September. But that's what I'll be doing the next couple of days. Never give up, never surrender. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you learned something. And I hope this makes you realize we can all fail. Even old Mr. Tom. If you watch enough of the YouTube channels out there, you can see it's been a real difficult year for many of us that up until this point were considered experienced gardeners and growers. So, until I see y'all next time, I want all of y'all out there to take care, stay safe, and God bless each and every one of you. Goodbye for now.